try to figure out who I am. Not sure what I'm doing here, and the days don't work out the way I thought they would. And before you there was no one who understood. Never found somewhere I fit in. Until I met you I was feeling lost. But you're the one who can make it go away. All you have to do is look at me. Sometimes I can't breathe, but it feels like you're the one who saves me. When I try, but don't succeed.
Good evening, I'm Alistair Mann and I came down to Hog Creek Point. It's just down the road from Aberdour this evening. Planning on doing a little bit of long exposure. So I've looked at the composition. There's a couple of compositions here, but I'm favouring this composition, and I'm going to get set up and then see what type of filters do I need. Am I going to get away with a 3-stop or a 6? Definitely shouldn't need a 10-stop, but we'll work out that, as well as the grads, we'll work out what grads we need. So I'm just going to get set up. I've now set up, and the composition I'm very happy with the pier going out. Now I'm going to explain my setup and the filters that I'm going to be using. ISO 100 f11, and at the moment with the filter that I'm using it's 1/5 of a second. Now the filters that I'm using this evening is the very hard grad age, and the reason I'm using a very hard grad age, I want a prominent line across from the foreground, in this case the water, and the far distance in the land. So that's going to give me a transition, and it's going to be more prominent. If I use the soft grad, then the transition is going to be a lot softer. Now the way that will work out is what filters, whether it's a 0.3, 6 or a 9, is in the event if the sun is in front of me, then I would be using a 0.9. If it's off to the side, which it is in this case, then I'm using a 0.6. Now, in the event if the sun was behind me, then I would be using a 0.3. So the whole idea of having the filter set up in that way is that it's a balance, it's a fine balance between the sky and your foreground, especially with the sea. On this occasion there's a bit of glare off to the side, but it's not hitting us at all here. So a 0.6 grad. You can see if you set up in your viewfinder, then you can see if it's too dark and it's nowhere near what the foreground is, then you're going to have to change your filter. Now, last couple of seconds while I've been talking, it's got that little bit darker. So I'm going to go to 1/4 of a second. Now what I want to do is we're exposing for the water and the sky. So I'm going to take a couple of shots. I'll make one brighter, because it's hard to see this evening at the far end of the pier. Now I want to make sure that this isn't overexposed. Yes, I can dodge and burn it, but ideally the more I get right in camera, the better. So it went down to 1/3 of a second here, and I'm happy with that. Now what I'm going to do, because I want to use a 6-stop, is go to my ND calculator, if I can find it here. So the whole key about this, now it's 1/3 of a second, going the wrong way. So I'm going to be talking with the 6-stop this evening. I'm going to be talking about 20 seconds, 25 seconds. Now, bearing in mind that that's just a guide, you may have to go over or under. So I'm now going to insert my 6-stop. Now it's if you're using a stopper of any kind, you always want the stopper closest to the lens. Slide it down. Now it's going to change the shutter speed. Now I've went to 20 seconds, and we'll see in a few seconds time what that's going to turn out like. Got it in one. Really happy with that there. It's not very often that I get it in one. So I've got the nice smooth part of the water for the tide starting to go out. You can see the dry rocks, you can see the wet ones, and then the rest of the water is going a nice milky. Bearing in mind, you know, it's everybody's taste. I don't like it too milky, so I'm quite happy that I came down here, set up, and as I got the shot I wanted, used a 20-second exposure, 6 stop, and a 0.6 very hard age grad. So what I'm going to be doing once I get in is editing the image and see what I come up with. Welcome back everyone. What I'm going to do now then is edit my image. However, I want to describe or let people know about Hawk Craig Pier. A lot of people may not know that it's there, so if you've never been there before and you're coming across the Queensferry Bridge into the Kingdom of Fife, it's only a 10-minute detour out of your way, especially if you're going to the likes of St Monans or Ely Lighthouse, St Andrews, or anywhere else that you have to come into the Kingdom of Fife for. So it's simple to find, and it's got a fantastic restaurant there. However, if you don't like seafood, then you probably want to give that bit a miss. But the pier itself, it's got a lot of character to it. It's, you know, and it's really fallen to pieces now. And the wood it's there's loads of textures that you're going to be able to bring out. I'm more interested in that there pier for a black and white shot, for I personally think the added character, it really suits the black and white. Now, what I'm going to be doing is explaining my workflow. My workflow doesn't change. Once you get into a workflow that you get used to, it's all about saving time as well. Now, one of the pieces of software that I've started to turn to more and more these days is Luminar 2018. And Luminar 2018, is it as good as Photoshop and Lightroom at the moment? Probably not. However, it's simple to use, and for a one-off cost of £64, that's going to save you a lot of money. Adobe, the price is slowly but surely creeping up. Yes, it's fantastic. There's no getting away from that. However, it is a lot of money to be paying out every month. If you're not using it day in, day out, then Luminar 2018 is definitely a piece of software that you could have a look at. The trial allows you to do virtually everything, and there's more updates coming all the time. So we'll be looking at Luminar 2018. However, ACR is my go-to part all of the time at the moment, and then into Photoshop, tidy things up, and then into Luminar. Then occasionally I may have to go back to Photoshop. Lightroom, nothing wrong with Lightroom. However, I personally find that I can do things quicker in Photoshop than I can do in Lightroom. I've tried to use Lightroom, and I'm going, well, what? It's taking me too much time. Now, I want to give a big shout out to Roy, who's gave me these panels behind me, and it has actually made the quality that you're hearing now, because beforehand the room, it was not a big room, but the quality of the sound wasn't. I haven't fitted the panels properly yet, but I wanted to get this here out. So thank you, Roy, and yep, I'll definitely be helping you with your editing. I was going to show you how I go about using ACR, Adobe Camera Raw. However, I've recently changed screen recording software, so whenever I bring ACR up, it's showing the Photoshop screen behind it and not ACR. So unfortunately I'm not able to do that. However, ACR, like any other software that you're editing with a raw file, it's the settings. So basically it's getting your image to a position where you're getting it nearly there, but just not quite. So I've now brought the image into Photoshop. Now, one of the things that I have noticed from Photoshop, so I didn't realise I updated Photoshop 2018, and it's now giving you some profiles where on this occasion there's profiles for black and white, landscape, people that shoot portraits. So yes, that's something that's new, and I wasn't expecting that. Now, normally I start my editing of black and white images in Silver Effects. However, I'm quite happy with just the base settings that Photoshop has given me. So another string to the bow and something different. Now, looking at the image here. Now, the first thing I look for in any image is distractions. Now, here, that's boulder. It's not on par with anything else, so we're going to get rid of that there. So, first thing I do is, with anything that I do, is make a background copy. Always work on my background copies. Now, there's different ways to get rid of that there boulder. I'm going to show you one. It's very, very simple, and 9 times out of 10 it's gonna do everything that you need it to do. So we get the lasso tool and just going to draw around the outline, then go to edit and fill. We've got content aware, normal, opacity 100%, and all I'm going to do is click that. And as you can see, that there boulder has disappeared. So the content aware tool, fantastic tool. Now, other things I'm going to be doing with this image is I'm going to be cropping the image. However, I tend not to crop images until the very end. So it's because it's Photoshop has more or less done the black and white for me. I am impressed. I haven't touched this image other than the ACR. Now, before we go into Luminar 2018, we have to flatten the background copy. So you go to your layers. Now, for some reason, and as I said, it's a new screen recorder software, it's not showing the drop down. So I'll just describe it. So layers, and then you go to flatten image. Okay, so that there's flatten the image. So now I'm going to take that image now into Luminar 2018. Now I got my image into Luminar 2018. So I'm going to do an approach of less is always more. But I find that the more you edit an image, the more you're taking away from what it really was. Now, I don't like editing any longer than I have to, and I would say most people don't like to do any more editing time than they have. So this is where Luminar 2018, it is pretty fast on getting the edits. However, it is slow processing, but we'll see that there here in a moment. Now, one of the main filters, basically Luminar 2018, it's a lot of filters. That's what basically it is. However, in the develop tool, you can always edit the raw images as well. So it won't take very long. So we go to add filter. Now it's the accent AI filter. That's under essential. That's one that I tend to go to first of all. Now if we go down to the size, you can use the paintbrush, or you can boost the whole image. Now I'll go to the extremes, and then we'll take it back. Now you should be able to see that. In fact, that's not bad at all. That is not bad at all, because it's given me a lot of detail in the sky. It's given me a bit of detail in the water. Now this here's worked out as a pure accident, by the way. Now if for instance you're not happy, you can also pull that there back. However, on this occasion, going to put the boost up and the filter amount a little bit further. Yep, I'm happy with what we've got so far. So bit of cloud definition. I'm liking this cloud here, and it's given a bit more texture in the water as well. Now from there, the next I'm going to go to is the detail enhancer. Right, bear with me to find it. Detail enhancer under issue fixes. Now here's one that you do definitely want to use very sparingly. So I'm going to use the paintbrush. There's different ways of using it, but I'm going to use the paintbrush. Now the main thing about this pier is the detail on the front of the image. So I'm just going to paint. Not quite too much worried about too much of this here, for I'll be cropping this image. And you make sure that you've covered it all. Now there's not much point in going on this occasion to the back, because there's not as much detail that you can see there, but the majority of the detail is in this front half part. Now as I said, I'll go to the extremes so that you can pick it up. And that's the thing about Luminar 2018. The actions that you do, it does run a little bit slow, but hopefully you can see whenever I turn this on and turn it off, especially in this area, you're seeing a lot of detail there. So it's as if, you mean that it's as if you've added a texture to that part of the pier. So I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Because I don't want it looking, I'm not a big fan of over editing the images. I like it trying to be normal. However, if there's texture there, I want to be bringing that texture out. And in this case, so as you can see, that has brought the texture out. Let's wait for it to speed up. Right, so I'm happy with what we've got here. Now, if need be, if you wanted to bring out more detail, we'll just use it as an example. I don't normally touch skies, especially if it's a colour image, but as a black and white. Let's have a look. Yep, it's brought a little bit of detail out in the clouds. That's took a couple of minutes. Yes, there's loads of different filters. You can, if you get Luminar 2018, you can work your way through them. I don't like going OTT. So as the image stands here at the moment, I'm not going to edit any more of this here image. I'm going to go back into Photoshop to resize the image, crop it. However, I don't like doing it in Luminar 2018. Not that it can't do it. I'm pretty old school. I do what's natural to me. And then I'll also be zooming in and Photoshop and taking these boys out. And once I crop, then I'll be able to do that and can always change it if need be. So as it stands at the moment, I'm very happy with what Luminar 2018's done. Hasn't taken no time at all. Now, before I go back into Photoshop, whenever you open Luminar 2018 up, you can see that there's a lot of presets here. So by all means, yes, you can use those. Personally, it's not something that I've actually took time to look at. I prefer to do every individual image myself. Now, there's different presets here that are available, and you can also make up your own custom presets. So it's definitely worth the 64 quid, especially if you don't want to be subscribing to Adobe any longer. So I'm happy with the image so far. I'll just turn that off for it's distracting. I'm happy with the image that I've got here. Now what I'm now going to do is take the image back into Photoshop and finish that off. As you can see, I've now got my image back into Photoshop. Now to see the comparisons, now normally I don't go to the extremes of this here, but I want to show the power of Luminar 2018. So that's Luminar 2018's image. And if we go to the TIFF image, that I edited in Photoshop before going to Luminar, you can see there's a huge difference. Now, this here's the image that I originally took. Now, as you can see, I was using a 0.9 very hard grad. It worked on this occasion, especially if you've got not so much land there. And the transition between the two, very, very close. That's always important regarding when you're using filters. If for some reason you keep going to a 0.9, try coming back a little bit. As I mentioned in the video, depending on where the sun is, should determine what grad that you use. That's a simple way to remember. Now, as I says, what I need to do is finish this here image off. Now, as you can see, a lot of the detail there. So I'm just going to get red using the spot healing brush. Now, there's quite a few of these here. I will take all of these away. Now, the ones in the far distance, I mean, you're not going to really see that. So you just zoom in and take anything away that you feel that is distracting. You always have to think about your viewer's eye. In this occasion, the pier's the main subject. I don't really want anything else interfering with that there. So as quick look around, I'm happy with what we've got. As you can see, look at the texture and the detail here. Doesn't get much better than that there. That is just an example. Probably overcooked it a little bit, but on the computer screen sometimes it's hard to see what it actually looks like. So what I need to now do then is crop my image. Now you can use the presets. Going to be needing my glasses, but they're not much good if they're downstairs. Now that there's a 6x4. However, normally that there image would work, crop would work. However, because of this here, I want to reduce that a little bit. Now that there's your crop preview. So if you're happy with that there, then that's fine. I'm not happy with that. So let's get rid of this here. And I'm just going to bring the crop up to this position. Let's have a look. Take it down a little bit. So yeah, that's the crop. I'm happy with to keep it. I always like a little bit more. Well, in this case, more sea, a little bit of sky. Now, what I'm now going to do is quickly put a border on it, and then that there will be my final image. Now, this here's been my very first YouTube video that I've done from beginning, taking a shot to a quick edit at the end. As you can see, there's not a lot to editing, a little bit of practice, but there is a lot of tools out there that is definitely worth their weight in gold, especially Luminar 2018. If you haven't looked at it, have a look at the trial. I can't sing a praise. I don't get paid for it. I wish I did, or I didn't get it free either. Now, the last thing to mention is it's been a pleasure doing this here. I intend doing a lot more tutorials, especially taking the images and then going through the editing process. A lot of people can go out, take the image, but editing is a lot of people, they find they don't know what to do. I intend doing mixing things up, doing different things with the editing, because there's loads of way to edit an image. I've got my own workflow, I'm sure you've got yours. So definitely thank you for watching, and if you have enjoyed this here and want to see more, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.
I try to figure out who I am. Not sure what I'm doing here, and the days don't work out the way I thought they would. And before you there was no one who understood. Never found somewhere I fit in. Until I met you I was feeling lost, but you're the one who can make it go away. All you have to do is look at me. Sometimes I